So in the previous videos, we learned how to read data from Excel sheets, and we also learned how to handle the errors in QTP VB scripting. So in this video, we will learn how to write some data back into the Excel sheet. In this case, we'll write back some results back into the Excel sheet based on the pass or fail or errors that we get in our script. So for that, I've created another sheet within this Excel file, this QTP framework sheet Excel file. So I created another sheet called results. So in this sheet, I'll create 3 columns, one for test name, result, and error message. Okay? So we will try to write back some results from this column, the test name, and the result, the pass or fail result, and the error message, if we have any error messages, okay? So let's close this. So let's create a function, just like we created function for reading data. We'll create a function for writing some data back into the Excel sheet. So we'll create a function. Let's name it as data write Excel. So this is the function. And we'll write some codes within this function, and we'll pass some parameters and values within this bracket, okay? So to be able to write something back into the Excel, first of all, we have to create an Excel object in our code. So this is the code to create an object. So going through just a quick sort of codes, this is a codes that you can use. So we say set app Excel, so that means we're creating a new object, and then create object, Excel application. So we create a new Excel object, and then we can say something like this. We can say app Excel, the object that we just created, dot visible is equal to, we can say true or false. So if we say true, then we'll see all of these changes. We'll see this happening within our own lines. But if you don't want to see it, if you want it to happen in the back end, then you can say false. So that means that you won't see this happening. This will be happening in the background. Okay? So then we have to specify the sheet. We have to open the object in order to write. So first of all, we have to open that particular Excel file. So this is the code that we'll be writing. So we'll give it a name, and then we'll say appexcel.workbooks.open. So that'll open it. So if you have this as false, then you won't see this happening. You won't see it open. If you have it as true, then we'll actually see the workbook is getting opened from my documents and all of this, okay? And open. So then you have to specify which sheet you want to open. So in this case, so we have to specify the sheet path. So in this case, I'll put it as a variable called sheet path, and then I'll pass the same variable parameter in the function, sheet path. Okay? Then we have to specify the sheet that we are referring to. Okay? So this is the code that we'll be writing. So within the Excel object, which is we'll give it another name. So obj sheet. So you can name this and this as whatever you want. So then we'll say appexcel.sheets, and then we'll specify the sheet name. So we'll have the dynamic sheet name and the sheet path as dynamic. So instead of writing the sheet name directly in here, I'll put it as a variable, and I'll pass the variable within my function parameter. Okay? So we are specifying to the sheet, and then we are specifying to the Excel file, and then we're specifying to the specific Excel worksheet. Okay? So then this is the code for writing some values back into the specific row and the specific column. So we are telling QTP that this Excel object .cells. Every time that you do a .cells, then in the bracket, you have to specify the cell. specify the row number and the column number. So instead of writing the row number and column number, so we're just putting the variable row number and column number, and then we'll have to pass the same into it. So we'll have to pass that into the function parameter, row number and the column number. So we'll set that as data value, some data value. Data value. So whatever value we pass, it will write that value into the Excel sheet, okay? Then we need to save those changes. Otherwise, whatever value we write, there's no meaning in it. So we need to save that particular Excel sheet. So this is the code that we'll write. appexcel.activeWorkbook. So this is the active workbook.save. And after we save it, we can close the object. We can close that particular Excel workbook. So just like in real time, we close it after we save it. So we save the object, and then we say object workbook.close. Then we have to quit. So that means that Excel object, that Excel application, we have to quit. We have to quit the process. So appexcel.quit. Then we set the appexcel is equal to nothing. So always at the end, whatever object that you create, you have to set it as nothing in order to clear out all this data, or to clear out the process. Okay? So this is a function that we've created, and we'll use to write some data back into our Excel sheet. Okay. So let's save it. And when we save it, we see that we have an error. It says expected on line number 25. So let's see line number 25. So let's see if we made a mistake. Yes. So we're passing all those variable parameters within this bracket, right? Sheet path, comma sheet name, comma row number. Everything is separated by column. But we can see that sheet path and sheet name, we forgot to put a comma. So we put a full stop sign, we put a dot instead of a comma. So let's replace that with a comma, okay? So sheet path, comma, sheet name, row number, column name, and data value. All right, let's save it again. And no more errors. So now we can use this function within our script to write some values back into the Excel file. So we used to just print some pass and fail commands, and if there's an error within the script. So now instead of doing that, if the error number is not equal to 0, then let's try to call that function data write Excel, and within the bracket we'll specify the sheet name, the Excel file path and row number, and the column number as well. So what is the file path? The file path is actually this. We're referring to this same Excel file. So in the bracket, we'll put that value. Okay, so we put the value for the sheet path, and the next is the sheet name. So what is the sheet name that we're referring to? We're referring to results, and then the row number and the column number, right? So where exactly do we want to write some text? Okay, so first of all, let's write some value in the test name, which is column number 1, row number 1. And then we'll write some value in the results field, which is column number 2, row number 2. Okay, so in the next video, let's continue writing back the results.